Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Shrishtam Brahmapi Shakti Putramatra Surupam Rupam Tasyagratam Ruparing Mathurim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaramaho Radhika Madhavasham Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi Vandeham Shri Guru Shriyataf Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savad Utang Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Shakramita. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Did you read through all the section of the Bhagavatam?
One chapter.
One chapter. Then Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sita Pataya Namaha. Then Vitarasi Dikshurane. What is that? Vitarasi Dikshurane Dikpati Kamaniyam Dashamukamoli Baling Ramaniyam Keshavadrita Rama Sharira Jai Jagadisha Hare. Hare Krishna. I mentioned earlier this morning that we could consider preaching, promoting people to awaken their attraction toward the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Rama. As many people are more inclined culturally, or whatever. Culturally means that they're born in a situation by the grace of Bhagavan Rama where they are, due to their previous attraction to him, they're born in a situation where that may be further developed. Now, in our Krishna conscious movement, I mean the ISKCON preaching all over the world, we find devotees who are attracted to various forms of the Lord. There are quite a few who are particularly attracted to Nrsimha. I'm talking about in the Western countries. They're very much interested in worshipping Nrsimha Dev Bhagavan. It's, particularly one devotee, Amara Prabhu in Germany, and Jyotirmay Prabhu is there in Slovenia. One of Srila Prabhupada's disciples is practically Sri Vaishnava. He has a house here, but he doesn't spend much time here. Gaur Keshava Prabhu. One devotee I know, who is very much a godbrother of mine, who is very much attracted to Rama, was Shambhunath Prabhu. Obviously not this one here, because he's my disciple, not my godbrother. He was very attracted to Ramchandra Bhagavan. He always liked to hear about Rama. He passed away some years ago. So we shouldn't reject that. We may encourage it, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did, that although he established Krishna's true Bhagavan Swayam, Krishna is the root or original form of the multiple forms of the one personality of Godhead. He would preach that also. But then if others are fixed in a particular kind of attraction, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would appreciate that. And that particularly happened with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with his very dear associate Murari Gupta, who is a great devotee of Rama, who is ascertained to be in a previous life Hanuman, who appeared in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Then also Rupa and Sanatan, their younger brother Anupam, who was later called Vallabh, he also had great affection. For Rama, he was a great devotee of Lord Ram. And Rupa and Sanatan, they would repeatedly say to him, "Come on, worship Krishna, then we'll all be together. We can all relish Krishna's pastimes together." So eventually, Anupam thought that, well, if we see Ram Leela, I'm extrapolating a little bit here, we see Ram Leela that the younger brother is completely subordinate to the elder brother. Lakshman, Shatrughna, Bharat, they completely, whatever, his order is their life. So eventually he thought it's not good to deny my brothers. So he said, okay. One time he said, okay, then from tomorrow I'll stop my worship of Rama and I'll join you in worshipping Krishna. And the next morning he came, he said, I cried all night. I already sold my head at the lotus feet of Lord Rama. So I can't take it away now. So what should I do? I can't leave him and I can't disobey you. So should I give up my life or what? And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very satisfied with this also. It's not that everyone has to worship Krishna in Vraja mood. Of course, later Acharyas after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, some very much promoted that and stated that, well, Raghunath Das said, if you're not careful, you'll fall down to Vaikuntha. You make offenses in Vrindavan. Or I believe that was Vishwanath, who in his Ragvartana Chandrika said, on the path of raga, worshipping the gopis or trying to follow in their footsteps, then one of the things that will inhibit that, you shouldn't do, it will stop your bhakti, is going to, talking about, thinking about or appreciating Dwaraka. Of course, Srila Prabhupada didn't teach us this mood. He very much emphasized that Krishna's pastimes outside Vrindavan and inside Vrindavan is all the same Krishna. And then again, he would repeat what is often, more often understood to be the Gauriya Siddhanta, that Krishna in Vrindavan, well, that's right there in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that Krishna in Vrindavan is the most perfect manifestation of Krishna. Is there in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu also. So, Srila Prabhupada, in saying this, we can understand, or at least I understand it like this, that Srila Prabhupada didn't want us to minimize or Krishna, any of Krishna's forms, or with our measuring mentality. Mapiyate anaya, or mapiyate anaya iti maya, or something just said mapiyate maya, to measure, to want to measure everything. That is maya, that is illusion. So if we think there's any material difference between Krishna and Vrindavan, or Krishna outside Vrindavan, or Krishna and Rama, then that comes to a misunderstanding. And also, it's very important for us to understand the teachings of Krishna outside Vrindavan in Bhagavad Gita, rather than just trying to jump immediately into Krishna's intimate pastimes in Vrindavan. We're certain to misunderstand the intimate pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan if we don't first make the effort to understand his teachings in Bhagavad Gita. We can also misunderstand Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan in a manner that might seem devotional. Apart from gross sahajya type of misunderstanding, in which one imagines oneself to be a gopi, or maybe even a male dresses as a gopi or imitates a gopi. It may be just that one has a feeling for, one likes to hear about Krishna, but doesn't have a very clear understanding of who Krishna is. And that, this Krishna conscious movement can contribute to the whole field of Rama Bhakti, especially in North India, where this Ramanandi or Ramayat Sampradaya, they worship Rama. But mostly the understanding of pure devotional service, free from material desires, or even spiritual desires that are self-centered. In other words, the desire for liberation from the material world into the spiritual atmosphere without the sense of service to the Supreme Lord. So, without that understanding, people worship Rama, or they worship Krishna, with the idea, yeah, very nice, we love to hear about the pastimes, and we like to live happily in this world also, and Rama or Krishna will bless us so we can live happily in this world, and then later we'll go to live happily in his world. But it's all, the emphasis is on how I will be happy. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught a better understanding, not how I will be happy, but everything I do, that should be for Krishna's happiness. And that's really a message which we can propagate very well in the pastimes of Lord Rama also, especially Lakshman. Of course, Hanuman is known as the greatest servant of Lord Ram, but Lakshman, his example of service is easier for us to attempt to emulate. We can't jump over the ocean, for instance, or jump up to the mountain range and bring the mountain. We can't do that. We may not be able to be so wise as Hanuman, as the wise minister of Sugriva. But Lakshman, his example is there, leaving his own family comfort. He was also married. Leaving his own family comfort. We don't hear much about his wife. Maybe there are so many things. Maybe some edition of Ramayana which is not manifest in this world. There may be more about that. But he followed, and he simply served Sita and Rama, literally day and night. He didn't sleep for all the time he was in the forest because he would stay at night to protect. You may say, well, what does Ram need protection for? Of course he doesn't need protection, he's the Supreme Lord, but he's playing the pastime of a worldly man, of a man of this world, not a worldly, not a materialistic man, but the most highly principled man. So in the forest there are the Rakshasas are there, they move around at night. And many other dangerous creatures, they move around especially at night. There could be robbers. You may say, well, what is there to rob from Lord Rama, who's living like an ascetic in the forest? But the robbers, if they find someone, they may not just rob them. They may take a human for sacrifice, especially if they find someone who has a very nicely formed body. We find in the story of Jagabharat that they found he has a very stout, well-formed body. They thought it's very suitable for sacrifice to Kali, so they can get her blessings. That's the idea. The idea is that for human sacrifice, you should have a very good, strong, stout human. Not that, well, some baby is born with 3 legs or something like this, or 1 leg, or give for human sacrifice. No, the sacrifice should be well-formed body. Of course, we're not at all endorsing this. I'm just stating the mentality of such persons. I'm giving that caveat because you never know. Someone might say, oh, you see, Bhakti Vikasa Swami is turning back. Human sacrifice, how you have to have a well-formed body. Some nutcase may take that and try to put it into action. The power of, or the possibility of misinterpretation. We should never underestimate how people's ability to misunderstand and misinterpret and think that they got it right. So he was protecting at night. He would make the sleeping place. Sita and Ram were used to complete luxury. Since child, they knew nothing but luxury. Sleeping on the best beds all their life. Sita, of course, was also a princess, and Ram, prince. So they lived in the highest luxury. But he would clear some, where are you going to sleep? In the forest. So he'd clear some land, make it even, clear away any stones, put some grass and all that. This all has to be done before dark, of course. Then all night he'd be patrolling. And then he would go out and bring food, all kinds of services he would perform. So there's the ideal of selfless service to Sita and Ram, the personality of life. And Bharat, of course, even though he had all opportunity to enjoy, but he wouldn't do so at the expense of Rama. If Rama was to give him another kingdom, then he would accept. If Rama is on the throne in Ayodhya. Later on that happened. Shatrughna was given he was given Mathura. First you have to kill the demon who's controlling that forest, the Lavanasura. Then Mathura city was founded there by Shatrughna, I believe, was it? So he's not that he's against living as a king and living in opulence, but not to present himself as better than Rama. If Rama is not enjoying, then I won't enjoy. That spirit is there. So in our deity worship also, that spirit should be there. Not that we make some formal offering to the deity, put some water and some mishri, put that in front of the deity, and then we cook a big feast and then stick it in front of some picture and eat for ourselves. Of course, here we don't have deities to worship, but in deities at home means everything should be offered deities in the temple. Everything should be offered. So not that we are living very comfortably and deity is there. He's there. Okay. So just be there and shut up. Don't say anything. So this attitude of pure devotional service, we see it's the same thing that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught. It's there in all pure devotees. It's not, the basic mood is the same. That extreme intensity is there in the residents of Vrindavan, especially the gopis. And therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Ramya kachit upasana vrajavadhu vargena ya kalpita. The mode of worship of Krishna as carried out or as conceived by the gopis of Vrindavan, that is the best. But in essence, all the pure devotees, they all have the idea that I'm simply meant for service, not for enjoyment for myself. And we find even the squirrel that may not be in the famous story of the squirrel, that may not be in Valmiki Ramayana. But anyway, that story may be in some other shastra. How the monkeys are bringing big rocks to throw in the ocean for making the floating bridge to Lanka. The squirrel is pushing some sand, and Rama appreciated it. Yes, his service is as good. How can it be as good? Because he's serving according to his capacity. Rama, if Hanuman can jump, then Rama can jump. He doesn't need a stone bridge. He can jump everyone. He can just think and Ravana will be dead. Someone asked, I remember many years ago in Warangal, I think it was, speaking at a bar association. So one lawyer, after I spoke, he said, how come Hanuman jumped over the ocean and Ram had to build a bridge? If Ram is better than Hanuman, then why is Hanuman worshipping Ram? So I told him that Hanuman is empowered by Ram, because Ram wants to show that his devotees are better. The Supreme Lord is so kind to his devotees, he gives them the glory. Krishna, he acted as the servant of Arjuna. So the squirrel, he's pushing the sand. It has there's no sign of it actually being useful. The rock which is going, the monkey's army, they can walk on that. They can't walk on the pieces of sand. But Rama appreciated it. That attitude is there. The attitude of selfless service. Let me try to help in whatever capacity I can. So that is the spirit of pure devotion. And we can preach that via Ramayana also. That will be much appreciated. Akinchan Krishna Prabhu, he gave a series of lectures regularly on Ramayana in Tamil. And people, they like it. So that can be done also. The pastimes of Lord Rama, they are very much didactic. Didactic means morally instructive. In Krishna's pastimes, not so much, because there's Lord Rama, he is Maryada Purushottam. He is the Supreme Lord who comes to show the path of morality, proper behavior, sticking within your limits. Maryada means limits. So Krishna is known as Lila Purushottam, simply enjoying pastimes. There's no limits for Krishna. There's no limit for Rama. He can do whatever he likes. But he comes to demonstrate the ideal human behavior. How we should remain within our limit. Don't transgress your limit. You should know, everyone should know their position and act accordingly. Don't try to be more than you are. Don't try to show yourself to be better than you actually are. Ravana, what was his fault? He could have lived happily with queens who were religiously married. Rama wasn't envious of Ravana because he was living in golden Lanka, in opulence. It wasn't that Rama was envious of Ravana because Ravana had so many queens, Rama only had one. Ravana's gold, living in such opulence, it wasn't that Rama was envious. But because Ravana was, of course, by kidnapping Sita, he wasn't the first he kidnapped. He kidnapped so many. He wanted to enjoy in a sinful way. So Rama punished him. But he didn't have any envy toward him. After killing Ravana, then Rama, he instructed Vibhishana, now you have to do the funeral rites for your brother. He didn't have any malice toward him. As a matter of duty, he killed Ravana, but he wanted Ravana's benefit. Therefore, he had Vibhishana perform the funeral rites for his benefit. So Rama showed the path of proper activity, how we can live in this world in a proper way. Krishna, to some extent, showed that, but in Krishna's pastimes, you always have to see, especially, you have to see what is didactic and what is not. In other words, we have to see what is it of Krishna's pastimes that we as humans can learn to live in this world from that, and what not. Krishna's lifting Govardhan Hill, that's not anything for us to imitate, obviously. Krishna's dancing with others' wives, apparently others' wives, that's not for us to imitate. Now, people, they like to imitate the dancing with others' wives, but they don't like to imitate the lifting the Govardhan Hill. So we have no objection. You want to dance with others' wives? No objection. No objection. But first you lift one Govardhan Hill. Then you may do. Then they're disqualified. So you can see that is imitation. But as far as Krishna living in Dwarka, how he, although Rama married one wife, Krishna married 16,108, but he maintained them all well. In Vedic culture, there's no limit on the number of wives you can marry, theoretically, but they should all be maintained properly. So Krishna maintained so many wives very nicely. He acted as an ideal grihasta, looking after his family. So that example should be followed. Rising early in the morning, specifically stated, he would rise early in the morning. This should be followed. All of this should be followed. But in Rama's pastimes, but especially for kings, kshatriyas, the ideal is there, but many features, how the brothers cooperate and serve the elder brother, how they're subordinate to the father, how one should protect one's wife, how one should protect dharma, even at great personal inconvenience and suffering. That Rama, he had to send into exile. He had to exile his wife because of the complaint of the washerman. So also how then the women should be protected. They shouldn't be left alone. They must be protected. Otherwise someone may steal them or misuse them, or they may misuse their independence. So in so many ways, we have so many things to learn from the examples of Lord Ram. And the Ramayana has been, throughout the centuries, the most best loved of all the many texts within the Vedic and extended Vedic canon, and best loved, best known, most recited, and very much formative in the character of the people, especially women, how their role is to be a submissive wife. The women will tell their girls, you be like Sita, their daughters, you should be like Sita, submissive wife, submissive, loving. And of course the husband, he becomes ingratiated to such a wife and wants to protect her and serve her. So we should distribute this Ramayana also. Srila Prabhupada, he translated many books, but the books that he himself stated are most important: Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitam, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and the Nectar of Devotion. So these are the core books of our movement. But Srila Prabhupada also expressed a desire to translate many other books, including Ramayana and Vedanta Sutras with commentaries. Many books he said he wanted to translate. But Ramayana, he wanted to translate that also. So we can also distribute that. And it's a very palatable way, easy way for people to take an interest in this culture, which they're losing or have lost, or not even lost, they don't even know anything about it. So it's also by telling the stories of Ramayana, that's a vehicle for giving so many other instructions also. So that can be distributed. Oh, it's too late now. I forgot. So I brought out an edition of Ramayana some years ago, because in ISKCON at the time, the most widely circulated edition that devotees would buy for their own reading was Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan edition by Kamala Subramaniam, which mixed up with her nasty Mayavad ideas. And another edition was again from Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, a very smaller one by that Rajaji Gopalachari. So again, all mixed up wrong ideas. The basic story is there, but with an overlay of impersonalism. So I thought we should have some good edition. Then I happened to be visiting my godbrother once, Purna Pragya Prabhu, and he mentioned, I was just thinking I should do this for our devotees. They should get some edition of Ramayana, which is bona fide from the pure devotional standpoint. He told me he had a manuscript which he'd made just he'd read to the local people, based on the local children, based on the Gita Press translation. So I said, well, why don't you publish it? He said, no, I'm not interested. So he said, well, can you give it to me and I'll edit it and maybe add a little commentary and publish it. So I did. And later on he further refined his own manuscript. He gave me a copy of it, and he published that also. So I wanted that would be available, and now that's become very popular, not just only among our devotees, but it's widely distributed to the public in India. It's there in English, Hindi, Gujarati, Marathi, Telugu, and in Bengali and Bangladesh. It's not available in India. So, not in Tamil. There is one edition, but I'm told somehow it's not become very popular. I mean that edition which is brought out by Sri Vaikunta Enterprises. So there's a bookstall of my books here and lecture CDs. So generally each year I bring out some new book. So those of you who don't have my books, you may please get them. In Tamil, just a few books are there. In English, many books are here. So you have to read all of Srila Prabhupada's books, but you can read my books also. And we also have this Srila Prabhupada's full audio and video archives, so you can hear Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada himself put more emphasis on his books rather than distributing his lectures. But devotees who hear Prabhupada lectures, they find that very much helps them to absorb what they read in the books. And of course the sound of Srila Prabhupada's voice is in itself purifying, and we can hear in the sound of Srila Prabhupada's voice the same urgency and sense of wanting to convey Krishna consciousness to others, of seriousness, and that pervades the written words in his books. So please take these books, Srila Prabhupada's books, you can take my books, and Prabhupada's lectures. Srila Prabhupada's lectures on Bhagavad Gita are also available with Tamil translation, chapter 1 and chapter 2 also now?
3 chapters.
3 chapters. So you should, all the Tamil speaking devotees who don't follow English, you should all take those recordings and listen to them. Hear Prabhupada, what he has to say. The first, or the duty of a disciple, or the meaning of a disciple, they should hear. From the Guru. So we should hear from Srila Prabhupada. Just right now, for the first time, I'm seeing Brahmacharya and Krishna Consciousness. Yeah, it smells just like it's freshly printed. In Telugu. 2,000 copies printed. I know it's if you see this script, you know it's either Telugu or Kannada. So this is Telugu. 2,000 copies printed. Thank you very much to the devotees who prepared that. Gaura Prabhu and Vangshi Krishna and Bhimavaram, they put a lot of work into this. Who translated it actually? Who was the first translator? There are 2 translators. I see. So you're the translators, and then you worked on it, edited, refined it, and printed it. So thank you very much for that, and I'll offer it to Srila Prabhupada. You have to let me out. first copy can go to and you can distribute that also. You can make, if you distribute that, I mean, apart from among our devotees, you can distribute. There's some boys who'll be interested in that. They can become devotees, brahmacharis. It's still in India today. There are boys. If you give the idea of Brahma, yes, I'm interested. They're joining. Not only ISKCON, they're joining the Ramakrishna Mission and Swami Narayan, and there's still the idea to be a sadhu. It's still there. Many actually. So you can distribute that. Okay. Any questions now? We have a little time. 1 o'clock is prasadam, is it scheduled today after fasting in the morning? Yeah, okay. Is there another mic? Is there another mic for questions? That should be. Many of the qualities. There are certain qualities of Krishna which the jivas share, but not all. But particularly the general qualities, Satchidananda. The jivas and Krishna, they're both by nature Satchidananda. But some of the qualities of Krishna, they're specific qualities, they're not in the jiva. Just like one of the qualities of Krishna is attractive to all women. That's not for the jiva. That's for Krishna only. Yeah. Then, anything else? Yeah. Mike, is there?
Regarding Ramana's interpretation by various scholars or normal people, so there is a trend even among Sri Vaishnavas to actually give an interpretation based on allegory and metaphors, saying that, for example, Sita is characterized by the soul is trapped, and Rama characterizes the Supreme, who when Sita is continuously striving for protection from Supreme actual saves, etc. So, is that actually a valid interpretation? Not just this interpretation, many interpretations based on
Krishna's pastimes or Rama's pastimes can be understood at various levels. But we should be careful of Mayavadi interpretations. Someone had brought to Prabhupada the idea that Krishna, he stole the clothes of the gopis, and that means we should be naked before God. And Prabhupada, he didn't appreciate that. What is this? It's just some foolish interpretation. So I don't know who's doing the interpretation, but you have to... The first understanding is that it's Krishna's Leela. It's not that the gopis are going naked before Krishna because they're indirectly making some lesson for others. They all sat down and said, okay, let's cook up some lila by which we can instruct others. That may be seen by acharyas. That may be deduced from that. But the first thing to understand, this is ananda chinmaya rasa pratibhavitabhis. It's the exchange of love between Krishna and his devotees. That is the main, that is the essence of lila. And different acharyas, they may find something analogous for us in that also. But we have to see, have to be careful, because Mayavadis, they give some strange ideas also. Okay, we can sing now part 3 of these songs. Natabara Guhachara Sharat Bihari Vallabi Vallabh Deva Gopi Vastrahari. Krishna is the best of dancers. He wanders in the caves of Govardhan Hill, and he enjoys various amorous pastimes in the autumn season. This is page 9 in English. That book should not be, this book should not be on the floor. First word is Natabara. You can find it in here. That's he is the lover of the young cowherd maidens, Vallabi Vallabh, the supreme lord of all and the stealer of the gopis' garments. Yagya Patni Gana Prati Karuna Sindhu. He is the ocean of mercy for the wives of the sacrificial brahmanas. Govardhana Dhrik. He is the holder of Govardhan Hill. Madhava, the husband of the goddess of fortune. Braja Bashi Bandhu, the dearmost friend of the inhabitants of Braja. Indra Darpa Hari. He broke Indra's pride. Takes away Indra's pride. Nanda Rakshita. He protects, he is the protector of his father, Nanda Maharaj. Mukunda, the giver of liberation. Sri Gopi Vallabha, the lover of the cowherd maidens of Vraja. Rasha Kriyara, Purnananda, the enjoyer of the rasa dance. Wow, I'm going to translate a little different. He is the complete bliss of the rasa lila. So, 3 lines. You can just sing that. 3 verses. Natabara Guhachara Sharata Bihari. Natabara Guhachara Sharata Bihari. Vallabhi Vallabh Deva Gopi Vastrahari. Vallabhi Vallabha Deva Gopi Vastrahari. Jagyapati Ganapati Karuna Sindhu. Jagyapatni Ganapati Karuna Sindhu. Govardhana Drikha Madhav Rajabashi Bandhu. Govardhana Drikha Madhav Rajabashi Bandhu. Indradarpa Harinanda Rakshita Mukunda Indradarpa Harinanda Rakshita Mukunda Shri Gopi Vallabha Shakrira Purnananda Shri Gopi Vallabha Rasa Krira Purnananda Okay, part 4. Shri Radha Vallabha Radha Madhava Sundara Lalita Vishaka Adi Shaki Praneshwar. So I think we don't need to translate. It's Navajala Dhara Kanti. He has the lovely complexion of a fresh rain cloud. Madana Mohan, Vanamali, who has a garland of fresh forest flowers. Smera Mukha, smiling face. Gopi Prana Dhana. He's the wealth of the life of the gopis. Tribhangi, his threefold bending form. Murlidhar. Jamuna Nagar, I think that's spelled wrongly. Should be Jam. Let me see. What's the first one? Gai Gora. Anyway, there are so many things spelled wrongly here. Radha Kunda Ranga Neta. He is the director of the pastime, amorous love sports at Radha Kunda. Rosher Shagara, the ocean of sweet devotional mellows. Oh, I'm seeing. Yeah, okay, that's 3 verses again. Okay, let's sing this. Shri Radha Vallabha Radha Madhava Sundar Shri Radha Vallabha Radha Madhava Sundar Lalita Vishaka Adi Shaki Pranesha Lalita Vishaka Adi Shaki Praneshwar Navajala Dhara Kanti Madana Mohan Navajala Dhara Kanti Madana Mohan Pranamani Smera Mukha Gopi Pranadhan Vanamali Smera Mukha Gopi Pranadhan Tribhangi Muralidhar Jamuna Nagar Tribhangi Muralidhara Jamuna Nagar Radha Kunda Rangamita Rashe Sagar Radha Kunda Ranganita Rashera Sagar Part 5 Chandravali Prananath. He is the Lord of the life of Chandravali. Kotuk Abhilashi. He is desirous of joking and playing pranks. Radha Manasulampata. He is very anxious to enjoy the moods of his beloved Radhika's feigned sulking, Milana Prayashi. He always endeavors to meet with her. Manasha Gangardani. He is the giver of the Manasa Ganga lake to the inhabitants of Vrindavan. Prasuna Taskara, and a thief of flower blossoms. Gopi Shaha Hatakari. He acts outrageously with the gopis of Vrindavan. And Braja Baneshwar. He is the lord of the forests of Vrindavan. Gokula Sampat. He is the wealth of Gokul. Gopa Duk Nivarana. He protects the cowherd boys from all miseries. Cowherd boys, cowherd men. Durmada Daman. He curbs all foolish pride. And Bhakta Santapa Haram. And removes all distress from his devotees. Chandra Bali Prana Nata Kotog Abhilashi. Chandra Bali Prana Nata Kotog Abhilashi. Radha Manasulam Bhatta Milana Prayashi. Radha Manasulam Bhatta Milana Prayashi. Manasha Ganga Dani Prasunara Taskara. Manasha Gangara Dani Prasuna Taskar. Gopi Shaha Hatakari Brajabaneshwar. Gopi Shaha Hatakari Brajabaneshwar. Gokula Shampada Gopla Dukha Nibaran. Gokula Shampada Gopa Dukha Nibaran. Durmada Damana Bhakta Shantaparan. Durmada Damana Bhakta Santapaharan. Next part, Sudarshana Mochan, the liberator of the demigod Sudarshan. Remember that from Krishna book? Remember that? He was condemned to be in the form of a snake, and Krishna delivered him. And Sri Shanka Churantaka, the destroyer of the demon Shankachura. Ramanuja means he's the younger brother of Balarama. Generally here in Srirangam, if you say Ramanuja, think what's the meaning of the name? They think of Lakshman, the brother of Ramachandra. It's another name of Ramanuja, Lakshman Deshika. But it also means Krishna, the younger brother of Rama. Shamachand, the beautiful dark moon of Vrindavan. Murali Vadaka, the player of the Murali flute. Gopi Gita Shrota, he listens to the devotional songs of the gopis. Madhu Sudana, the slayer of the demon Madhu. Murari, he is the enemy of the demon Mura. Arishta Ghataka, the killer of the bull demon Arishtashura. Radha Kundadi Bihari, He regularly enjoys amorous sports at Radha Kunda and other places in Braja. Vyomantaka, he is the destroyer of the sky demon Vyomasura. Padmanetra, he has eyes shaped like lotus petals. Keshi Nisudana, he is the killer of the horse demon Keshi. Ranga Krira, he is fond of frolicsome pastimes. Kamsa Hanta, the slayer of King Kamsa, and Mala Praharana, the conqueror of Kamsa's wrestlers named Chanura and Mushtika. Sudarshana Mochana Sri Shankar Churantaka. Sudarshana Mochan Sri Shankar Churantaka. Ramanuja Shama Chanda Murali Vadaka. Ramanuja Shama Chanda Murali Vadaka. Gopi Gita Shota Madhusudana Murari. 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 Arishta Ghataka Radha Kundani Bihari. 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 Vyomantaka Padmanetra Keshi Nisudana. Vyomantak Padmanetra Keshi Nisudana. Ranga Krida Kamsa Hanta Mala Praharana. 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 Hare Krishna. This session is officially declared finished. I hereby declare.